A reading from John chapter 6, beginning at verse 35. Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst. So the Jews grumbled about him because he said, I am the bread that came down from heaven. They said, Is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How does he now say, I have come down from heaven? Jesus answered them, Do not grumble among yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up on the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they will all be taught by God. Everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. Not that anyone has seen the Father, except he who is from God. He has seen the Father. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes has eternal life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate the manna in the wilderness, and they died. This is the bread that comes down from heaven, so that one may eat of it and not die. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever, and the bread that I will give for the life of the world is my flesh. There's a lot in this passage, but really at its core is simply the question, who is Jesus? This is what was being asked by the Jews who were grumbling about him, and they said, Is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? So they understood Jesus to be simply the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know. They were drawn by his teaching. They heard what he had to say, but all these other things, well, these were claims that were a bit too much. But Jesus counters this, and he counters it by insisting that he is more than simply the son of Joseph and Mary. He insists rather that he is one who has come from heaven. No one can come to me, Jesus says, except the Father who sent me draws him. So he's been sent by the Father. It is he who has come down from heaven. And this is an extraordinary claim, because to say that you've come from heaven means that you are more than simply human. But Jesus is also claiming to be more than simply that. He says, Do not grumble among yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up on the last day. Now, the last day to Jews is not simply the end of term or something like that, but it's the end of the world. And here Jesus is claiming that he will raise people up on the last day. Well, that surely is the activity of God. What is it that Jesus is saying here? Not only that, he says that those believe in him have eternal life. And this is an extraordinary thing, because after all, it is God who grants life. And here Jesus is saying that to believe in him is to receive this life. He also claims in this passage that he has seen the Father. Now, there's a lot more here. I could go into detail. I don't really want to. We're not here for the morning. But what I just want to point out is this. Remember that Jesus claims about himself to be one who is sent from heaven, one who grants eternal life. Jesus here claims that he is more than simply the son of Joseph and Mary. And we are left with these claims that Jesus makes about himself hanging in the air. Now, we have choices. We can dismiss Jesus as lying. We can say that Jesus is a bad man. We could, should we wish, think that Jesus is somewhat unhinged and say that he is a mad man. Or we can accept the claims that he makes about himself, that he is in fact God. And these are the claims, of course, which drew the extraordinary growth of the early church. So, when we dismiss the divinity of Christ, should we wish to do that, and I suggest we don't, then we in the end are making him out either to be a bad person who lied about himself, or somebody who's slightly deranged. If we are to dismiss Jesus in that way, fine. But if we think Jesus is a good teacher, well, then we have to accept all his teachings. And if we accept all his teachings, we have to also accept that he is divine.